The following video is rated H for all the hustlers worldwide.
Are you ready? I'm ready. It's grind times. Let's get it!
What's good, fam? It's Q, and I have to tell you, it's so cold outside, the child support court is definitely gonna be full in 9 months. So don't you be one of them. But anyway, I just woke up, thank the Lord for a lot of things in my life, and as you can see, I'm rocking the QB Real Estate t-shirt with the silk pajamas, so I go to sleep with business on my mind. Today, instead of working out, I'll show you what I typically eat for breakfast, since I get that question all the time. What do you eat? And if you've seen me in a previous video eating the food that I crave, it's a cheat day. And that's just because I've had a solid week of eating clean. Cheat meals can actually help you in your fitness journey, within reason. So with that being said, let's go where the bodies are built. So you always want to start off by washing your hands just to make sure you're practicing clean and sanitary habits. Then you never know if you had a little company the night before, if you know what I'm saying. So, nevertheless, we got the hands cleaned up, dry them off. So, what I like to start off by doing is actually taking a non-stick frying pan, doesn't matter the brand, just get you a good non-stick frying pan. And I'll usually end up spraying her down, getting her lubed up with some olive oil spray. It's 0 calories, so it won't actually hurt anything. But some people just spray a little bit, but like I said, I like my stuff well lubricated. So now that we have that, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna actually get some egg whites. So the egg whites are actually gonna serve as my protein source. So with the egg whites, I'm going to use about a cup. Okay, we're good, that's a cup. Okay, now I'm gonna end up adding in an egg. The reason I add in an egg is because the egg actually has some healthy fats in it, and it also has some vitamins and minerals in it. So next you want to whisk it up, whip it real hard, whip it real hard. So while you're actually whipping it up, you want to go ahead and get your fire started, heat your pan up, and you just want to continue to whisk a little bit more. So now that I have that ready, I want to go ahead and add in my carbs, which I'll usually add in just a quick pack of oatmeal. Some people who prefer to cook oatmeal, you can just grab about a handful or half a cup and cook your oatmeal. As far as flavors, I prefer the fiber and protein just because it's low in sugar, but they were out, so I guess today I'll go with apple and cinnamon. So, get this oatmeal going. And the consistency of the oatmeal really just depends on your liking and taste. So I'll usually pop this in the microwave for about a minute. And now that my pan is good and hot, so time to pour it in on in. So we're gonna cook these egg whites up. Mix with the egg while the oatmeal is cooking. This is some natural sea salt I'm getting ready to add. I prefer pink Himalayan salt, but it doesn't really matter. You actually need a little salt in your diet. And I'm gonna put some ground black pepper on it. But let me say this about healthy eating. I live in Louisiana, and we have some ladies here that can throw down in the kitchen. So it's kind of hard sometimes to just eat clean. But, you know, hey, we're known worldwide for food for a reason. I know if a female can cook, you can definitely get my attention. So turn this up a little bit to kind of get this party on the road.
This is an original instrumental.
And I kind of like my eggs in a omelet style most times, although I don't eat cheese, but for the most part, I prefer my eggs kind of in an omelet style, just without all the additional things added to it.
This is an original instrumental.
But man, it looks like it's going to be a great day with the way my eggs are coming out. So, as you can tell, they're starting to take form. And what I try to do, just to let you guys know with my diet, I usually just try to keep it simple. That way, it's more sustainable. And as you can see, they're coming out perfect. You know, and it's a good thing they're coming out perfect because I actually have a brother who thinks he's the world's greatest cook, but I always have to tell him I can do my thing in the kitchen too. So, as you can see, there's no burn marks, it's just perfect. Okay, so now that the egg whites are ready, go ahead and just put them on a plate. Fire off. By now, the oatmeal is ready. Just give those a quick little stir here. And I'm gonna get this show on the road. So, with my breakfast, just to let you know, just to kind of jazz it up, I would add about a handful of fruit. So I'm gonna go with the strawberries today. And the thing about strawberries is they're low in calorie. Plus, let's say for instance you have a little company one morning and you have a nice young lady sitting across from you. You can actually feed her a strawberry. Fellas, putting you up on game. Women love that kind of stuff. You feed her a few strawberries. Next thing you know, she's gonna say, "Daddy, you ready?" Ready for what? Ready for dessert. And all of a sudden the table's clear. But anyway, now enjoy this good breakfast. And also with the most important part, water. So I'm real big on water. I'm not much on all these miracle drinks and, diet drinks and things of that nature. God gave us the best thing you could actually put in your body right here. Refreshing. And also, as far as early morning, I usually take 2 multivitamins just to kind of get in my vitamins and minerals and help regulate your system. Some of you people need to clean your system. That's probably why some of y'all mad and hating on other people. Your system kind of messed up. So get you some damn multivitamins or hit you a shot of apple cider vinegar and clean your damn insides out. Maybe you'll be a lot more happy.
This is another Impossible production.
This is an original instrumental.
This is another Impossible production.
This is an original instrumental.
I've been told I eat fast, maybe because I don't usually talk while I'm eating. So,
This is
I don't know. I just eat and dig in.
This is an original instrumental.
Man, this is a way to start off the day. By the way, too, when it comes to weight, don't let the scale determine your success. Look at it from a look standpoint, how your body actually changes, because weight is just like the economy, it goes up and down. Right now, currently, I'm about 8 pounds off from what I call my sweet spot or my target weight. But I guess when it comes closer to summer, I'll probably go ahead and cut down a few more pounds just to get to peak physical condition. But
This is another Impossible production.
for the most part, I'm in what they call a maintenance stage right now, to where I'm still enjoying life, but at the same time, I'm still eating pretty clean for the most
This is
part.
an original instrumental.
This is another Impossible production.
And by the way, if you want to know more about
This is an original instrumental.
what I eat and for me to work with you on your meal plan, and I say that because I'm not into the cookie cutter meal plan approach. I think everybody's body is different, so for me, I can actually work with you one-on-one to actually help design something that's effective for your particular goals in your body. So if you want to learn more about what I eat and customize your own meal plan, book a chop-up session at grindtimes.com. So that way I can work with you hand on hand to help you achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But with that being said, I'm getting ready to finish off this meal, get my business day started in my home office with a video call with the physician. So I'll see you in a few.
This episode of Grind Times is sponsored by Conquer Sports Pro for all of your sports and personal training needs, serving as the training home of countless pro, college, high school, and youth athletes. For more information on booking sessions, contact former NFL player and Super Bowl champion Marlon Big Fave Favorite at 504-319-6672. Come train with the pro and hello somebody!
Is there a doctor in the house?
How you doing?
How are you, Dr. Banks? What's good?
I'm okay, man. We getting through this. This is Thursday is my Friday. So this is it for the weekend.
Okay.
So we're about wrapping this up.
Glad you. Okay, I heard you were gonna be out of town, so I said let me go to my home office and zoom in from there and see if I could just get you to come on and show people, a side of medicine that they don't normally get a chance to see. So I had a few questions for you. Okay. And, I like to make the show kind of interactive and, just fun and laid back. So let me start off by saying, or just telling the people, who you are, the name of your practice, and actually what type of medicine do you actually specialize in?
Okay. My name is Renando Banks Senior, MD. I'm a family practitioner. I've been practicing medicine for 30 years now. I graduated from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, which is a historical Black college. Okay. And then I graduated from med school at the University of Arkansas Medical Science Center. Came to Louisiana, did my internship and residency at Earl K. Long, which was part of the LSU program. That was the charity hospital here in Baton Rouge, which has since been torn down. And then I went into private practice. I was the first Black and youngest person that was over a large criminal medical facility. Also LCIW, which is our female Angola here in Louisiana. And also I was the first physician in Marion, Louisiana. I had one of my, I guess it was nurse at the criminal facility, at the penal facility, that told me that in Marion they still had an integrated waiting room. This white doctor had Black folks sit on one side, white folks on the other side, and so Blacks couldn't get an appointment. They would have to be seen only if he had time to see them. So I just had to open up an office over there. This was in 1994. I opened an office over there, like a satellite office over there, just to break that up. And those are some of the most loyal patients. Since after Katrina, the tree fell on my clinic and stuff, and so I didn't rebuild. But most of those people from all those patients from Rosedale, Marion, Louisiana, New Roads, Louisiana, all that area, they still come over here to see me. So I got a kind of rural practice and an urban practice. And I've been here on Convention Street now for like 25 years. So I got a good mix of rural and urban. And it's been interesting.
Okay. I see you over there rocking the stud in your ear, looks like. So you look like a young brother that where medicine hadn't, the stresses of medicine hadn't actually beat you down as of yet. No, so I
always, I didn't never wanted to conform to what some white guy or what some bourgeois Negro had told me how I'm supposed to look. I always knew I was the smartest person in the room, so it didn't matter what I wore.
Right.
And so if you can, I always believe like Ali, if you can talk it and back it up, and then you can do what you want to do, basically.
Right.
I was on the staff for over 25 years on staff at Our Lady Lake, and Baton Rouge General Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a inpatient and outpatient practice. So I didn't mind staring them down. And if you're academically tight, they can't mess with you.
Right.
Plus, you always got to have some lawyers in your pocket that you need to take care of. Have on at your beck and call, just in case they get crazy.
Right. And I'm glad to chime in. I'm glad that you said that, because I think one of my gifts has been from growing up in the hood to going on to earn 4 business degrees to multiple professional licenses. I think I'm one of these people that can actually function in either environment. I can relate to the everyday common person, but I can also go in a business meeting with executives. So I think a lot of times people will either be on one side of the spectrum or the other, to where, they may be astute, but they can't relate to the everyday common man. So I think, for myself, that's one of my gifts. And to see a brother like you who says, look, I didn't have to conform. My work will back up and my intellect will back up, who I am. That just says a lot. And I think just that statement alone, and seeing brothers like you and I, it just shows, someone who may have grew up in the same environment that we grew up in, that, hey, you can still achieve regardless, and you don't have to conform to, like you said, that box that they try to put us in. So
yeah, I think that what turns away a lot of really talented people from some of the professions, because they think you, quote unquote, got to be stuck in that box. And
right.
So we're gonna have to get to these young people and let them know, hey man, you don't have to drop your swag just because you got that MD or DDS or law degree behind your name. So we gotta find a way to do that. It just so happens that we get a lot of pushback from the academia, especially on the college level, because they think you're supposed to fit into that box, because they can teach it. They can teach theory, but they haven't been out here practicing it.
Exactly.
So,
and just to cut in on that, I always tell people, I said, what you learn in school, what I learned in business is totally different from real world business. You know how it is in the book, you'll have 2 people doing a business deal and they're both smiling and shaking hands. Well, in the real world of business, from owning a practice, it's not always like that. You may have a disgruntled patient or a disgruntled person that I'm doing business with, and you have to know how to handle those things. So
insurance company that trying to get you, lowball you and all that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So and that's what brings, when you come from the hood, like they like to say, well, from the neighborhood, which is out in all of our hoods were the same. We were in the 60s, everybody was just out of the 6 degrees of separation. We was only on 1, 2, maybe 3. And so we are basically from the same. But when you bring that background of being a Black person, that we had to defend yourself, walking to the bus stop or walking home from school or just playing on the playground, never forget that. Bring that with you. Also, pad yourself with a whole lot of knowledge and academic prowess, but never forget how tough you had to be just to, say, hey, I got ups on this next game. Somebody said, no, I got ups, and hey, let's go for it. Never forget that. Never forget that. So, and you bring that with you.
Right. And I'll be the first to tell you, I've probably had enough fights for a lifetime. And, some things that went on. And I always tell people the only difference with me is that I went to school and got some degrees. But, it was a lot of things, again, that I learned out in the streets that I think helped me in business.
Yeah.
So,
and then, just we every education is an education. Whether you get an education street education, where you got into the military and went around the world. That's a world of education. Don't dispel don't put off any education that you get. Add it on. Just add it on the pile.
Exactly.
All there's education. So just keep it with you.
Right. So let's take it back to the beginning from where it started for you. Did you always know you wanted to become a physician? And what path did you take?
At 6 years old, I had a hernia.
Okay.
And until then, I had never seen a black doctor.
Okay.
My mother took me to see Dr. Robert Smith, who's a black surgeon there in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Okay.
Pine Bluff is a very unique place in that we also had, at one time, we had our own black hospital.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I never got a chance. I never saw a white doctor. You know, our surgeons were black, our pediatricians were black, our family practitioners, all of those were black folks. Okay. So a very unique place. That's where UAPB is. And I guess because of that, in the South, that was the gateway to the South. We had a lot of great talent there. So once I saw Dr. Smith and I saw how they had to say, sir, and yes, sir, those white nurses, although I know they hated it when he came to see me in the hospital when he did my operation. When I said, that was it, I'm going to be that. That's what I'm going to be. And so, in fact, he wrote my letter of recommendation to get in med school.
Oh, wow.
And so we have a long, in Pine Bluff, if you say you want to be a doctor, all the other doctors, ever since I probably like 8 or 9 years old, I got professional courtesy.
Okay.
And also my family got professional courtesy because everybody knew I was going to be a doctor.
Okay.
And then when I got to be like early teens, my mother would drop me off at Jefferson Regional Hospital, that's the only hospital we had. Okay. And I would down with the black physicians. They would let me hold the black bag, and I couldn't go into the room, but I'll stay at the nurse station, stand there and stuff, and they'll let me eat lunch with them. Then she'll pick me up and take me home. But I was being prepped to be a physician, and they were saying this is going to be the next generation of doctors for us. Okay. And so after that, just matriculating through high school, you knew you had to make the grades. You knew you had to do well on the ACT to get in college, and got a scholarship to UAPB. I didn't want to leave home because my cousin and I had a clothing store that I was running during the time I was in high school and college. Mm-hmm. Went to UAPB, graduated with honors, went to UAMS and got out of there. It was med school was probably the last place in the country to integrate. We had no black. We had one black. He was over the pathology department, and that's all. We had probably 2 or 3 lectures from him my whole 4 years. That's the only, other than when Montague Cobb would come down from Howard to give a lecture on I forgot, he would give a special lecture, and they would just really bring him because a lot of my white counterparts had never had a black lecture, had never been lectured by a black PhD or a black physician for that matter. So it was hard. You knew you were black. They let you know you were black, but it wasn't like no one ever really threw an insult at you, not openly. You just knew that you wasn't getting treated, and you knew that when you applied for certain things that you were somebody lesser than you were going to get that chance to do it while you were there. But you can't let that get you down. You just keep on going. So then after I left out of UMS and graduated, came down here and did my internship at Earl K. Long, which was amazing. It was a great pathology. I wanted to go somewhere with a big black population. And here's where Southern University is, Baton Rouge. This is the black belt. This, you can't get no blacker than this. Right. So when I got to Earl K, you got a hospital that 98% of the people that are being treated there are black, and I was the only resident, only black resident with white people. So they had that God syndrome walk around here, the white guys. And so, we kind of broke some of that up while I was there. You can't do too much, can't change too many things while you're going through. Now, when you get out, you can raise all the hell and you can change policies and things. In fact, our state senator who just talked yesterday about the insurrection there in D.C., Bill Cassidy, he was one of my attending.
Okay.
And, he's a gastroenterologist, so did a whole lot of EGDs and colonoscopies on his guidance. So it had great pathology. You saw your people, you learned to take care of your people learned to take care of you. And during that time, and I was getting ready to start my practice. And when I opened up my practice, a lot of the people that worked at Eric Long and a lot of patients that I saw there, they came into my practice, and my practice has always been full. And also where I was the medical director at LCIW, the women's prison, all of a lot of those guards and their families came here. In fact, a lot of the prisoners, when they got out, they came here too. So, if you're a likable person, the people know you're for them, you never have to advertise.
Right. And I know you mentioned your clothing store and med school. I'll tell you a funny story since you kind of touched on those things. I actually have an adult daughter who's on her way to dental school shortly to become a dentist. And it was funny how she decided to become a dentist. She was in high school, and the high school she went to, it was real big on the arts and fashion and just things of that nature. So I used to always think, Lord, where's my child going to get a job in fashion from in Louisiana? And one day she came home and she said, Dad, I'm gonna become a dentist. I said, well, how did you come to that conclusion that you wanted to become a dentist? She said, well, we did a project at school and they said, okay, what kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of house do you want to live in? How much money do you want to make? And once you chose those things, they had a list of potential careers that you could possibly go into. So needless to say, I was a pretty happy camper that she chose that path.
That's a great high school. That must not have been a public high school, huh?
No, it was Baton Rouge High School.
And see, if they don't even I do that same talk to young people when I get a chance to. When when I've been invited to talk to schools and ask them, what is your lifestyle going to be like? And what are you going toward to live that type of lifestyle? Some people don't need nothing but a apartment and a good CD player. But if you need more than that, then let's talk about it. Because when you say, well, I always ask them, what kind of car you want to be driving at 30?
Right.
And then when they said, then I tell them about how much that car note is going to be and how much the insurance is going to be. And if you got a $150,000 car, you sure don't want to be parked in front of a $20 house. So and then what all that takes, that you got your house should be at least 3 times more than what your house. Well, your house should be more than 3 times more than your car is. And so then with the insurance for that, and we add it up. And these kids they're amazed at how much it really costs to live a particular lifestyle. But then I said, it's all about getting busy. Now you got to start really getting busy, and then you got to have a game plan A and B. And I always tell kids, when you get a chance, ride through a gated community. If somebody ever let the gate open and you and you can ride through just a real luxurious community. I said, they got those gates up there not to try to keep people from getting in and stealing. Because those gates won't stop nobody. They really want to get over there and start stealing.
Exactly.
I said, they got those gates up there because they don't really want you to know how they living.
Right.
Because once you see how people live, then you'll start doing the things for you can live like
your
that.
mind and your eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't want you to see that,
And that's why I'm so happy to be doing things like this to, just put more images of people like us out there to young professionals, young people, young adults, to just show them, hey, if we can do it, you can do it too. So
Right.
That's definitely one of the things that I'm most pleased about with creating this platform. But with that said, in many cases, people view doctors as health experts, which they are. But you're also a business owner because you own your own practice, which I preach ownership all the time. Can you provide some insight into the different aspects of business ownership?
Well, look, first, once you get out of residency, you can go sign a contract and work for a hospital, work for another big clinic, or go work for Kaiser, Permanente, Ochsner, or whatever.
Mhm.
And then you're still working for someone.
Right.
I'm like, hell, I ain't went through all this much school to be answering to nobody.
Right.
You know, like I got great hours at my office. My hours are when I
Right.
get here to when I get tired. So
Sounds like me.
yeah.
But it's never enough hours in a day,
no,
correct?
you know, you probably work more because you own it. But
Exactly.
I think once you set up your business plan and you learn what it takes to start up, I think you got to start. And as far as anybody listening that's in residency now that is going to go in to matriculate through medicine, while you still in residency, go ahead and get your paperwork started on your Medicare number, all that kind of thing. Start on what insurances you're going to accept and stuff, so you can have all that paperwork done before you even graduate from your residency. So when you start opening your doors, you can start receiving checks when you see someone. If not, there's going to be a 3 or 4 month delay on that paperwork. So how you going to eat during that time?
Right.
And so get that done while you still. So you got to start pre-planning. The thing that I see from a lot of young Black physicians, they don't come around and talk to the older guys like me, like I used to. When I first got to Baton Rouge, I looked up every Black doctor in town. And I told him who I was, and I went over there and I shook his hand. I let him meet me face to face. And I said, I might be calling you back to borrow some money.
Right.
Yeah, but it broke the ice. And they knew I was here. And if there was any trouble that I could have gotten into, they were going to be on my side. They also, if I wasn't going to be a stranger if something happened, and then who are you? That wasn't going to be. It's hey, this Banks, I'm the one that you just met.
Right.
So, but now these young kids come and they think like, you see a young doctor here, and you're here, he's here and practicing. Next thing you know, he disappears. What happened? He got in trouble over here at the lake or the general, or they put some pressure on him, but he didn't know anyone to even come to his aid. Because, you got to look up an OG and say, hey, man, how did you stay in business 30 years?
Right.
So
where we're from, the point you're making, if you were communicating it to someone that was younger, you'd advise them to get ahead of the game, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Start early, know what you're going to do, how you're going to, what kind of practice you want. And then start enlisting people that are already doing that type of practice, and then also figure out how you want your practice to look like. If you want to go somewhere and if you are a subspecialist, and you are waiting for consults, that's like when I said, like I got a friend named Stephen Kelly, and he's a cardiologist. So when I take care of someone for blood pressure problems and maybe congestive heart failure, but when it gets to the point where I'm thinking there's some coronary artery disease and I need to bring in a cardiologist, I consult Dr. Kelly. So I send him over there, get the insurance to okay that he can be seen by Dr. Kelly. But so Kelly got a lot of friends like me. But what if you were a specialist like Kelly and you went to Ozark, America, and you're a Black guy like Kelly, and you're waiting for these white guys to send you some patients? It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
I mean,
So so
maybe a few, but some of the ones that the other doctors didn't want. So when you're looking at your practice, go somewhere where you got a referral base, or you got uh you know a population of people that can support you.
mhm. So you have a network of doctors and specialists that you deal with on a normal basis.
Yes, yes, and as
Okay.
many, like in the words of one of my late patients, Miss Vera Williams.
Hmm.
Uh, Before I would send her anywhere, she said, "Is he black?"
Hmm.
And a lot of our people like this, so some of our people are real soldiers, man.
Hmm.
There are a lot of your everyday black person.
Hmm.
They're the one that say, "I want to see a black specialist. I want to see a black cardiologist. I want to see a black ophthalmologist. I want to
Hmm.
see a black dermatologist." And I remember
Hmm.
telling Miss Williams that I was going to send her to an ophthalmologist,
Hmm.
and she said, "Is he black?" And I said, "No, we don't have a black ophthalmologist here in town." And she said, "Jesus, keep me near the cross." And she said, "You mean that we marched and did all this, and y'all, none of you black guys, smart black boys, can fix an eye?" And so the next medical association, National Medical Association I went to, we actively went and sought after a black ophthalmologist to come here in Baton Rouge.
Mhm.
And so that's how our people are now. And so, but another point I want to make: your everyday black person, your everyday laborer, your everyday uh, plant worker, janitorial, small business owner, they support black doctors.
Right.
Get to some of your bougies. They don't. I mean, they've come on more as time went on,
Uh-huh.
but our everyday regular people, your really brothers, and soul sisters out there, there's
Uh-huh.
the ones support black doctors.
Right.
Always
And
have.
and it's funny that you mentioned the network that you deal with. Um, for me, I always tell people, I said the biggest lesson I learned in college is networking. So I could have basically saved myself a whole lot of time, headache, and money if I'd have known that networking in business really is the key component. Because I feel like anybody can learn anything. So in the society we live in today, it's truly about who you know. So, if it's an instance like you made relationships along the way with these doctors, and if it ever becomes a case where you need to reach out for whatever reason it may be, again, those relationships will prove to be vital in whatever it is that you're trying to get done. So
They've
I
taught
think
they've
that's
taught
important.
they've taught us to be very tribal,
Right.
and which we shouldn't, because once we got on that boat and they brought us over here, they broke down those barriers of the tribe. You know what I'm saying? So we all just
Right.
one big tribe.
Right.
So why some people want to be aloof and don't want to communicate with other people in the same profession, I don't know.
Hmm.
Because we're not in, why one reason I became a physician is such a need for black doctors,
Hmm.
meaning that for white doctors, there's one white doctor for every 400 white people.
Wow.
There's one black doctor for every 12,000 black people.
Wow. So we need doctors a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
no competition.
Hmm.
It's no competition. I got a friend, Stan Mays. He has his office over on Gus Young,
Yeah, he was
and
my son's doctor.
we're less than 2 miles away from each other. We never
Hmm.
have to worry about competing with each other. We're both busy.
Hmm.
We can't see. We could use 50 more black doctors in Baton Rouge,
Hmm.
and we still wouldn't see all the black people that need to be seen.
Wow. That says a lot. The disparity there.
Yeah.
Um, so let's transition into the good part, because I know you talk medicine all day, every day.
All day.
So in addition to your medical practice, you own or have ownership interest in various other ventures outside of medicine. Can you talk a little bit
All
about
right.
some of those businesses and just some of the opportunities that may be out there?
Well, one of probably the most lucrative business I ever was in was I had a dialysis unit out there. I was only two. There were only two black people in the country that had a dialysis unit. There
Okay.
was me and my group, and there was another group out in Compton.
Okay.
And that's when we clean your blood because you in kidney failure,
Okay.
and use equipment to cleanse your blood and puts it back into your body, and
Okay.
because your kidneys have failed. We sold that, but it was very interesting. It would make my hair go gray, but it was very interesting. Other thing is something in medicine, kind of quasi. I have a medicinal marijuana clinic here
Okay.
that we've gotten into using THC for pain other than just the opiates. And so you got to keep your mind wide open, because just because they say this is the way things should go, don't mean that's how things should stay.
Right.
And THC is a great pain reliever, and also it helps a lot of things with sleep, anxiety, and things like that. And it's not as habit forming as these opiate medicines that the white power structure has pushed down everybody's throat over the last 30 or 40 years. So I did that. I've also had my own. I was the first person to open up an urgent care center in Baton Rouge. In fact,
wow.
I have the rights to the name Baton Rouge Urgent Care.
Oh,
nobody
wow.
can use it but me, unless you want to pay me.
Okay.
So, and then I had I have what's that? A mini store. I have a mini store right there on Southern's campus, which right now I'm converting over to something else. But right when mini storage when I opened up my mini storage back in 95, 96, a TV, big old fat screen TVs was, big as a small closet.
Right.
So when some guy got put out of the house and he wanted to take his TV, he couldn't just put it in the back seat of his car like you can now, just take it off the wall and carry it out.
Right.
You had to go find a storage. Computers were big and everything. So that was a lucrative business during that time. Now people just want a little closet. You can walk in, you can store some stuff. But they're not storing big things like they used to. People used to have great furniture. Now people go buy their furniture at Walmart. When they move, they just throw it into the garbage can, So so that was, now we're changing over. In fact, we're in the process of tearing that down. We're gonna put some apartments there. I've always been a landlord of different entities of just living duplexes, fourplexes, single family living. So we've always done that, and so that's pretty much all of it right now. I do have my first venture was at 12 years old. My cousin and I, we opened up a clothing store.
Oh, wow.
Then we went into had tuxedo shop, and then we did female dresses, and we did all that. And then we had a real top-notch, real suit store. And so that kept us busy from junior high all the way through college. So I've been kind of diverse in as far as what I let myself get into over the years.
Well, they say great minds think alike, and I feel like I'm talking to myself with my own childhood, because I was trying to do business as long as I could remember, and I was always interested in entrepreneurship. So it sounds like you were doing business and just had that business mind before you even became a doctor.
Oh yeah.
And for myself, I remember, just being on real estate projects with my dad as a young kid. I remember cutting grass, to earn money for clothes for school. Just any way I could hustle and get some money. That was my thing, even at a young age. So it's just good to hear brothers like yourself that was able to, from a kid, take that early business ambition and actually turn it into something
And I think
successful.
that's the word, ambition. I love to hear that word, ambition. Be ambitious.
Mhm.
And we all that, like you and I, we learned Keystone that we bought something wholesale for $12, and then I would mark it up to 26, and when you come in, I'd let you have it for 24 until you got a bargain. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, hey, economics 101, supply and demand.
But I wasn't hustling. I was being a venture capitalist,
Right.
So, and just like now, I guess the other thing I think we all should get, and I always want to know about the stock market, and I've educated my boys into be more and more astute about the stock market because you can really make money.
Yes.
Especially since you put your money in the bank, they're gonna give you 0.0001% on your savings.
Right.
You may as well put it in something that at least you're gonna get 12%. Just buy some Apple, some Tesla. Something that they got a track record of making some money, and so they got us working too hard to make money.
Right.
And we need to learn how to make smart money.
Mm-hmm. So I really need to touch on this just because it's affecting, us and people around the world. What would be some key points that you would like to make about the COVID-19 pandemic that we're living in?
I'm on the governor's task force for COVID. And what I've found is that it's always been more dangerous and more deadly to our population because we're on the front line of anything. When people get off a boat in New Orleans, they come from China, and they go to a store, and they go to a restaurant, they go to a hotel, and they go to anywhere, a club or whatever. Who did they meet first? It was us. So when you're thinking about how we got exposed to it early, it was two strands. They talk about strands now, but it's always been multiple strands. There was one strand that hit New York and New Orleans, and that's how it came up the street and got here in Baton Rouge too. Well, that strand came from Europe. It was a more vicious strand. It attacked. It was contagious, and it also was very deadly. That's why you had all the deaths early on. Then the other strand that came from China, and in that area, they went to California and all that, and that's why they're just now having pandemic proportions that we had, 9 months ago, 11, 12 months ago. So you got to you got to read between the lines, and everything they tell you on TV ain't what's going on.
Correct.
All right. But you also got to know about I'm getting a whole lot of pushback from Black folks because of what they think or what somebody who quasi not even a scientist, or not even physician, not even a scientist, now all of a sudden is becoming an authority on COVID because he's like, I was talking to a person the other day, say you need to go get a vaccine because you're over 70 years old, you got 5 pre-existing conditions, and he's saying, well, think I should get Moderna or should I get Pfizer? I said, whatever one you can get, you need to get it because the chances of you surviving with COVID with those 5 pre-existing conditions is going to be very low. But now all of a sudden everybody becoming an authority. I was talking with my line brother, I'm on Omega. I was talking to my line brother, and he was running down to me all the differences on this Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, or Pfizer. And I said, when did you become such an expert? I said, when we was in school, you never came into the biology department at all, or the chemistry department at all. I always saw you over there at the fixing on cars or something. You know what I'm saying? How you an expert now? So
Right.
What's going to happen is we shouldn't be. You know, we live here in America. We've seen what they've done to the American Indians when they gave them smallpox in coats and blankets. We know about the Tuskegee experiment. And let me tell everybody what the Tuskegee experiment. Tuskegee experiment wasn't that they gave those men syphilis. What they did was they didn't treat those men with syphilis, and they watched the different stages of syphilis: primary, secondary, tertiary. So they documented it. So when you come to my doctor's office and you've had syphilis and you tell me, hey, this is a chancre sore, I said, that's primary. But then you said it disappeared and then it came back as a rash all over your body. I said, that's secondary. And then later on you go, if you didn't get treated and then you went psychotic, I saw you walking down the street naked, then I know that's tertiary. Mm-hmm. That all happened with the Tuskegee experiment. It wasn't that they were giving it, they just didn't treat it. So a lot of our people got some, they hear that now and that's their excuse for not taking the vaccine. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is open up your mind. We don't want to be the only population in the demographics in this country that don't get the shot. Because then you're going to start seeing if you don't have your immunization shot, you can't get this job. If you don't have your job, you don't have your vaccine, you can't get on the plane, you can't get on the boat, you can't work on the seashore, you can't work at a plant. But we can't be naive now. Mm-hmm. If they send a box and says, this is just for Scotlandville, or this is just for the 9th Ward, New Orleans, I ain't taking that shot. Mm-hmm. All right? You go where they got an integrated population and you take your shot there. Mm-hmm. That's how you can be wary of nothing underhand that could go on. Because I went and got my shot at Our Lady Lake. And it must have been White Girl Day because I was between Becky and Karen.
The snow bunnies.
Yeah, I was between Becky and Karen and I got my shot.
Okay.
So I felt comfortable doing that. Said, well, they wouldn't knock off. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thinking we should be thinking. Instead of saying, oh, we ain't going to go take it. And we're getting too much information from the barbershop.
Right. So that was going to be my question, but you answered it. But I had a 2-part question. And the first part, which you alluded to, I was going to ask, do you find that us as Black people are reluctant or afraid to actually take the vaccine? And the second part was, has COVID affected your practice, whether positive or negative? Have you seen an effect from COVID?
Well, I first of all, I'm going to be going backwards. Okay. It affected my practice in that I lost a lot of friends. Okay. At my practice, and I probably got one of the largest practices in the country. In fact, I've been told that I'm in the top 3% for practices sizes in the whole country.
And that made my day to hear that.
Yeah. So when I lose a patient, I ain't lost a patient, I lost a friend. Mm-hmm. And so we've lost some people, mm-hmm. some good people, right? Some outstanding folks, and it initially when it came, it went through some demographics here in Baton Rouge, mm-hmm. through some areas, and I've known one of my patients, he and his whole family have died. Mm-hmm. So yes, it affected me negatively. There's never anything good about a pandemic. There's no silver lining to something that can kill this many Black folks or this many people, period. And what else you finna ask me?
And I was asking, do you find that, as Black people, we're either afraid or reluctant to actually take the vaccine.
Yeah, because we listen to too many people who are not scientists. And
Right.
what I want people to know is that the medicine that Socrates had to come to Timbuktu into Egypt to learn about medicine, and that the first open heart surgery was done by a black surgeon. And the majority of the surgery that was taught here, they used to have black surgeons come from Mahara to come here and teach the white surgeons how to even perform surgery. That in America, that they didn't know anything about sterilization and stuff until a black physician showed them. So when blacks saying they're against science, I mean, you're against us. I mean, so you're against these great black doctors that went before us.
Right.
And so when we're outside of it, because we like to be like, say, the hustle. So now everybody is pushing elderberry, and everybody now got what's this other stuff, sea moss, and everybody,
right.
Everybody got their hustle going on, but it ain't scientific, because scientific means you got to go through the scientific method, which black people, for one, we made it up. Scientific method is that you have a group of people, you give a placebo, and you give the medication, and you see the results, and you write the results down, and you come back and you explore that data. So same people are saying, I don't want it to be that we are still dying and everybody else is not.
Right. And when people bring it up to me and they go on and on about why they're not going to take the shot, I usually say, hey, that's your prerogative. But I can tell you this, whenever I'm clear to go get in a line and stand there and get my shot, I'm going to tell them, shoot me up. So,
yeah, because I'm saying, what now, I'm not a fool. Just being a scientist, I know we have no longitudinal studies with this disease process is not even 2 years old.
Right.
Okay. And so, excuse me. So by saying that, I'm saying, let's not let our childbearing age people, let them be the last to take the shot.
Right.
Because, these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, you see on TV, they have COVID this week, and next week they're running for 200 yards or hitting 40 points. So they can exactly. survive if they're healthy.
Okay.
They're healthy, don't have any pre-existing condition. Mm-hmm. They can wait.
Right.
But the rest of us, anybody above childbearing age should get the shot. I mean, because we don't have an alternative. We just don't. But like I say, be wary, ask questions, know what you're getting, know where you're getting it, and don't let them say, hey, this is for y'all. Because what's gonna happen is everybody's gonna get this shot. Then black folks gonna keep dying. Then they're gonna say, oh, we need to go get the shot. Now you're in trouble. What can happen then? Then it can get real funky then.
Right. I'm sure when it comes to COVID, you and I could go on and on about it. But I just wanted to touch on it because, I didn't want, viewers to say, well, man, how can you talk to a doctor and you didn't even bring up
it's the most pressing thing.
COVID, and we're living in the middle of a pandemic. So I definitely wanted to at least get your thoughts on it. But with that being said, like I stated earlier, with this platform, I try to, or it's my mission to inspire and help business professionals achieve success with their finances, basically get to the money. And I also touch on fitness a lot. So as a physician, how important is health when it comes to just being active or just your overall lifestyle?
I'll tell you how important health is, fitness. A higher percentage of us died because we weren't fit. Okay. There was 66% in some cases, they're saying that 66% of the people who died of a certain age limit were obese. Obesity definitely had a negative connotation, a negative effect on you being able to survive COVID. And we got food deserts, we we have poor nutritional standards that we have to change. We're still eating like we're in Reconstruction, just out of slavery.
Right.
And so we need to change. We need to change. We need to go through the diaspora and see how some of our Black people in the islands and some of the other places are eating and surviving and looking healthy,
Right.
but are not 400 pounds.
So
And-
I'm glad you mentioned that. So you would say would you say a lot of health issues can kind of be traced back to our diets and some of the things that we're actually ingesting and eating?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. We fell in love with what they decided what was going to be soul food. They decided. We didn't decide.
Right.
Yeah. They gave it what was left.
Right.
In fact, I have a book called Country Diet. So anybody, it was on Amazon, but right now I took it off Amazon because they were making most of the money. But you can come by it at my office. It's called Country Diet, a diet book for African Americans. It talks about how to change the USDA made a food pyramid that made a lot of white farmers rich, and we need to change that food pyramid to keep us healthy.
Okay. Well, I definitely would definitely come by when I can and pick up a copy of the book to just, be supportive of another Black professional that's in business and doing great things. Also, I guess from here on out, if something ever happens to me, I definitely want people to know that I have a relationship with you now. So if I happen to be out here working so hard and I fall out, I want people to call Dr. Banks and say, hey, Q Berniard that fell out. I need you to go over there and revive him, because we got a lot of work and good positive things we want to have accomplished in this world before he checks out of here. So with that being said, though, if anyone wanted to find out if you are accepting new patients, how can they contact your office?
And we are accepting new patients. We never stop accepting new patients.
Okay.
But I'm at 3870 Convention Street.
Okay.
And you can Google Reynando Banks, MD, Family Medicine. Our phone number is 225-387-7858, or email us at rbanksmedical@yahoo.com. I'm easy to find. I'm right here in Mid City. I'm 2 blocks from Baton Rouge General.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm between Florida and North Boulevard. So everybody in Baton Rouge, they know where that is. And so we've been here, gonna be here. Okay.
And since I'm agreeing here in front of the world that from here on out, I'll be supporting your business in any way I can. And, if I'm having health conditions, I'm going to definitely reach out.
If we want you to come here before you have a health condition. we think that if Black folks are not, we don't have a whole lot of disease processes.
Okay.
We're just like a 65 Chevy. We just give us tune up and change some things, and we'll run forever. So get in and see your physician, whether it be me or somebody else.
Okay.
Get in and see that physician once a year, at least once a year. Let them look over you. And if you have any kind of, a lot of times a lot of people have had heart attacks because they kept taking Maalox because of Mylanta or something, because they thought it was heartburn.
Right.
Tell somebody. Let them work it through. Let them check it out. And also, the greatest doctor or physician is that person who's preparing that meal at that house. So we should start with our children of eating healthy. Most of the time we're running into a 16-year-old Black female. She's already 240 pounds before she have her own first child.
Exactly.
What?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just saying and we have, obese children make obese adults. And there's too many times that people gave somebody a Coca-Cola in a bottle or or some Hawaiian punch in a bottle, and they became addicted to sweet. They became addicted to sugar. And once they get that's a crazy addiction,
Exactly.
and it's almost hard to get somebody off of when they've been sauteed by sweet drinks and sweet food, and later on trying to get them to stop eating it.
Mm-hmm. So what's the big stigma with Black men not wanting to go to the doctor?
Because white doctors treated them so bad when they came there. He didn't want to touch, or he was too rough when he did touch. Mm-hmm. And because
I hear that all the time, and I just wonder, where did that start and where did it come from?
It's just like shots. That white nurse at the health unit gave you that immunization. She just stuck it in there like that. She didn't give you a shot, and she didn't show you that the tenderness that she did with Becky and Mike. So that's just our history. But like in my hometown, nobody had any problem going to see a doctor because all our doctors were Black. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot. We got to produce a lot of more doctors, and we got to produce a lot of more doctors from the hood, that people like us,
right,
who are empathetic of, brother, I know your concerns. Mm-hmm. Just like a PSA. You need to get, any man over 40 needs to get his prostate checked. Mm-hmm. Well, I've shown that I don't have to put the gloves on and bend you over to check your prostate initially, because I get a PSA, and if that PSA is in normal limits and there's no other complaints, there's no hesitancy or anything else that have no prostatitis or anything, then we just roll with that. But if we get a PSA that's elevated, and then we may have to do a rectal exam. So a lot of men, I don't want to go get a rectal exam, but hey, I don't want to do one either. Right. But if I have to, I will. And if that's part of a good examination, if you come in with symptomology, then we will. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of things, high blood pressure. They don't want to get on high blood pressure medicine because they think it's going to cause sexual dysfunction. We got 200 blood pressure medicine now. Those first calcium channel blockers and beta blockers they were putting everybody on, that's gone. We can do that, and that won't cause any bedroom problems. So all those myths that they sit up and talk about, and then go see some white boy who don't really care if you come in there or not. Find you a good Black physician. And I say that a good Black physician that you can relate to, talk to, think you can work through a lot of these schisms and schisms that we have.
Right. Well, again, Dr. Banks, I want to thank you for just taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a very busy man with all of your businesses that you're involved in, and some of the task force and things like that you're involved in. But with that being said, I definitely look forward to talking to you in the future, maybe even a little bit more about investing, and especially I'm interested in that cannabis, the medical cannabis opportunities that may be out there.
We should really get involved with that in the political sense. So in the rollout, we won't be left behind. Our entrepreneurs won't be left behind, and when they make it, when it becomes just not just medicinal, but when it becomes recreational, that we need to have Black entrepreneurs that setting up shops and things like that. That we can't let them put us in jail all them years,
right?
And then now when it becomes recreational, they be the only one selling,
right?
That ain't gonna make sense,
right?
That doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, I'll definitely pass my contact information through the ladies that work on the team with me, and feel free to reach out to me whenever you have some time. And I'd love to sit down with you, and like I said, just continue our dialogue, and hopefully one day have you back on the show and come out and visit the clinic from there.
No problem. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. I had fun. You have a good one. Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Now that business is wrapped up for today, I've put on some fresh threads, and I'm getting ready to head over to meet some friends for a little bowling. Let's get it!
This is another Infosol production.
It went down tonight. The skills are still there. Hey, I'm glad I was able to take you along for the ride. With that being said, please support the book, support the movement. Check out the drip at grindtimes.com. It's fire.
This is
Until
another
next time,
Infosol
put your
production.
mind on your money, keep grinding, and let's get it.
This is an original instrumental.